The Splatoon series has made a name for itself with a strong focus on online multiplayer matches, but that's not to say it's ever neglected single-player fans out there. Both games have included story campaigns, complete with fun characters, tons of stages, and some fantastic boss battles. And now the series is going deep underground with a batch of tentacle-friendly test chambers in this DLC, the Octo expansion. Unlike previous Inkling-focused adventures, this add-on centers around an Octoling who awakens in the grungy deep-sea metro with, you guessed it, no memory. After a run-in with the just-as-confused Captain Cuttlefish, who recruits you as Agent 8, you answer a call from a totally hip telephone who tells you of escape to the Promised Land once you ride the metro and successfully retrieve 4 fangs to construct an ancient contraption. Now, I usually love these games for their weird style, quirky design, and strange sense of humour, but this is by far the coolest adventure yet. Once on board the subway, you're greeted by the conductor, Mr. C. Cucumber, very clever, who uploads a copy of the map you'll need to navigate in order to hunt down the fangs, which aren't actually marked, so you'll need to do a bit of subway surfing to hunt down the correct lines. Each station you stop at contains a mini mission that requires a fee to attempt it. Complete the stage, you'll earn some currency and be free to move further along the line. Using stations as stages cleverly branches the map out in multiple directions, which can come in handy if you find yourself stuck on a particularly tough stage. Because fair warning, some of these missions are squidiculously tricky. Although short, each one of these stages is packed full of cleverly designed platforming sections that all utilise that unique Splatoon playstyle. For instance, one stage may have you escorting an 8-ball through an obstacle course, another requires you to pop every single balloon while grinding along railing, and there's even a stage that requires you to perfectly replicate a giant dog made entirely of crates. And what makes them work here is the difficulty. They're challenging, but they're not impossible. It's the type of gameplay that rewards you for being persistent.
Well, Goose, it appears that lately Nintendo has found its niche creating these short micro-tests of gamers' skills, such as the optional Power Moon rooms in Super Mario Odyssey, and of course the shrines from the most recent Zelda game. And with a total of 80 stages, it would have been easy to just copy and paste a lot of these level ideas, but instead they've all been designed with a dash of old-school difficulty. Oh, my kind of gaming.
Totally. Each stage feels distinct and thought out, and I was genuinely surprised every time I dived into a new one. I did occasionally miss an edge or a ledge due to some depth issues, most likely caused by the crazy amount of design on screen at any one time, but thankfully there are checkpoints scattered throughout most of the stages. You also occasionally have the option to pick different loadouts, which can alter the difficulty depending on the challenge. Picking tougher loadouts earns you more CQ credits, which do come in handy when you run out of lives and need to jump back in. At first, I thought using currency would be a really cool way to juggle difficulty, but eventually this credit system feels totally unnecessary because I never found myself running too low. And you can even pay to skip stages entirely once you've attempted them enough times. However, doing so means you won't receive the full reward of a colourful mem cake, little trinkets that can be traded in once you collect the whole set for gear to use outside of the DLC.
Oh, speaking of which, Goose, did you know that successfully completing the Octo expansion gives you the option to now play as an Octoling in the main game? Forget Squid Kids, I'm all about Octolings now!
Well, as cool as that incentive was, it wasn't actually my motivation for completing the DLC. And while I really love the challenge stages too, it turned out to be the story that had me hooked. Struggling to climb out of this maze-like underground facility while weird and possibly shady characters all chattered through the radio at me, there's something very Portal 2 about it all. But then that distinctive Splatoonness would come bursting through in the art style, the characters, and that fresh soundtrack. It just reminded me how much I love this universe and all my mollusky mates. The Octo expansion successfully shows that the team behind Splatoon have not run dry of ideas when it comes to expanding on their inky mechanics or exploring their weird world. As far as DLC goes, this is up there as one of my favourite franchise revisits, and I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.